What's up, Rube? It's Little Big Robots back here now with you. Going over some more of my top 12 acquisitions of 22. Not all of these were created in 22 or sold in 22. I believe these were, but some on the list were not. So these are the top 12 that I acquired or built or owned or whatever, finally bought in 22. Today I'm talking about the 1 in 144 scale, which is standard HG grade gun scale. Um, these are 30 minutes missions Spinatio kit. Basically, the Spinatio is, think of it more of like a platform for different kinds of armor. So you've got like a more military guy here. You've got like a commander type or whatever. You've got like a ninja looking, and I've got three or four more, two or three more to build. So it's essentially just a figure kit that you will attach different pieces of armor to. 30 minutes missions, as you know, if you follow me, are designed to be built in 30 minutes each kit. And then you can swap parts and stuff like that. I've got all my 30 minutes. You might see them right there. A little shelf up in there. But what I like about 30 minutes missions is they are what they say they are. They're simple, easy to build, pretty darn cheap. The most expensive ones I've seen were 40, and that was one or two. Most of them are between 15 and 20, 25. And if you get them on sale, you can get them for $10. The little cute little fat one I reviewed a couple weeks ago was like $10. They have these cool weapon add-on packs, all this different stuff. But the Spinacia, whatever I guess you would call it, it's basically the same kit in different colors, similar to like a grunt suit and like a grunt suit in a Gundam, like a RX-78, whatever, which is not a grunt, but still whatever. How it can kind of just come in the same model kit but with different add-ons. That's what these are. But this is such a fun, posable figure kit. It's really more of like, it does get loose over time because they're not, the polycaps do wear out, but that's pretty easy to replace. But with this one, you get such a fun thing to mess with and play with and pose and stuff like that. And you, with all the additional add-on parts you get in the bright colors, they're really striking little kits for a really, really dirt cheap price. Now, not every head and part goes on perfectly with every kit, but for the most part, it does. Sometimes you do need a little extension part or something to make the neck larger or the shoulder larger to hold armor or whatever. But for the most part, you've got an extremely posable. These things are so posable because they are so thin. They're not fragile, but because they're so kind of basic, at least for the Spinacia, that you can put them almost any pose. They have really interesting ways of doing crunches and stuff too. They'll put the polycap instead of like this and a polycap, and then the body goes on top of it. They tend to do a lot of stuff where they have a hook coming from the waist, and the polycap is here, and then the waist kind of slots into it. So you're rotating off of the front of this hook thing. It's a really clever bit of engineering that helps with some posability, but it does have its issues as far as like if over time it starts to wear out, they do definitely get more loose and can do stuff like fall over and stuff. I've had no problems with these on the shelf. They don't hold much to, like, if you jostle them around. I'm on my shaky little table here that I've got to try and eventually buy a new one of. But this guy, like for example, is like the military type one, right? He's just, it's the same kit, the same body, but he's just covered with more armor. And then I could also swap off these pieces of armor and put them on the other ones and stuff like that. But of all the 30 minutes missions kits, I was kind of surprised. I really enjoyed these the most. The regular 30 minutes missions kits are kind of drab looking. They're kind of plain, very boxing stuff, because they're meant to be so interchangeable and so customizable. But these are much more almost feminine looking, almost like an athlete or a ballet dancer or something like that. And I'm not normally into that, but I am into humanoid looking robots, like a number 57 robot or something like that. And these, other than a few of the more feminine parts, like the heads or the feet on this one, they're not all like that. Other than that, they're just a really cool humanoid model that you could use in a million ways. You could say this was like a humanoid size, like a 6 foot tall robot, and it would be believable. You could say it's a giant robot, which they are supposed to be 50 foot tall or whatever they are, and it would be pretty believable. or you can just use them like as a basic action figure or for just for customization. So the whole 30 minutes missions line, I'm so glad I made the decision to finally start collecting them. I've got most of them now, other than just like color variants. But these guys especially just made me realize that the line, it seems to be a place where they just let certain engineers and people go in and just really put a really tight kit and experience together, so that when you get this, you come out with this really solid little model kit you can play with. It's cheap, but every bit of the sprue is usually used. You don't have any waste. It comes in a smaller box, which is much less waste. It's half English, half Japanese, like well written English to where I can actually understand what's going on. It's got its own lore, so it's not part of the Gunpla universe, Gundam universe. Any one of them, it's kind of its own more grittier universe. But it has a lot of really just fun parts to it. Again, if I tell people all the time, if you know somebody who's trying to get into model kits, or especially Gunpla Snap Together, just wants to have fun, get them set down with some 30 minutes missions kits. For the price of one or two pretty large Gunplas, you could have maybe 5 or 10 of these and have a blast. So anyway, that is the Spinatio line. Spinatio? Somebody correct me on the pronunciation for that. Have a good day, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.